Hi folks, Sean Cordisco back again. Another game from round 5 of the Gashimov Memorial. This is the 3rd edition. In honor of Gashimov, a great GM from Azerbaijan who died of a brain tumor 3 years ago. Good guy, great player. This game here, as white, I believe it's from Azerbaijan, Safarli, and as black, the ones we pick on a lot for drawing a lot. Giri from the Netherlands is getting a lot of wins in this tournament. Let's get to it. Safarli is white, Giri is black. It's going to be a Sicilian Moscow. We'll just go through the opening here. You don't usually go into openings too much on this channel. And Bishop A4, and they say that's the last book move. Black castles, H3. Knight B6 to chase the bishop. Bishop comes back. In a weird way, it's kind of like a really low pay, but the pawn's on C4 instead of C3 to tuck the bishop away. That way that knight doesn't chase down that bishop. It's okay. I mean, I'm not real keen on the position. I know this pawn is going to have to advance here pretty quickly in order not to get him stuck here. E5. There we go. D3. Knight E8. Now that light squared bishop is kind of hunting for a home. Right now he's just kind of sitting there hanging out. We'll see how he works out. Bishop G5 hitting the queen. Pawn moves. Bishop E3. Not really familiar with this setup. I mean, it's okay. Knight's a little weird on E8 for black. Now finally the light squared bishop can move. Isn't that the babysit the C4 pawn? But where's it going to go? Is it going to end up going this route to get out? We'll have to see. F5. Giri opens it up right away. Bishop G5 again. Bishop. Now Bishop H6. He comes back. Now you're thinking, oh, here we go, a draw, right? Bishop G5. Now he goes Queen D7. Giri doesn't want to draw. Even though the computer shows a small advantage for white, we're on move 15, and there's no way. Even Anish is going to draw this. Pawn takes. G takes. A lot of guts there. But that gives black some good initiative on the king side. A4, A5, Knight B5. King moves over. Don't like that bishop on C8 for black. Rook E1. Bishop F6. Finally get rid of that pesky bishop. He finally takes. Knight takes. And that knight is where he should be. Now a move I'm a little surprised, being that black pretty much owns the center here, controlling all these squares, is D4. He just got fed up with being locked up in the front, goes right after it. E5. And there goes the pawn. Pawn takes. Pawn takes. Queen takes. Bishop takes. Excuse me, knight takes. Knight to D2. And that series of moves, a small advantage for white has turned into a small advantage for black. Now Giri's on the attack. And there's white's light squared bishop on B3 doing absolutely nothing. It might as well be down a piece. Knight E5. Bishop C2. Bishop D7. F3. Rook A to D8. Now, this is usually in a part of the game where I have a lot of trouble formulating a plan. I really do. It makes it tough for me. What do you do here as white or black? Put the rook on D1. Get your rooks all centralized. That knight on B5 is going to need some... Going to need a place, a better place than that. I kind of like maybe in the future here and here. This knight come here, Maybe here or here. Rook A to D1. Rook to G8. Going for the open foul on the white king. King to H2. Just getting out of that immediately. Now bishop E8 does a couple of things. Targets towards the king side, plus opens up the D file for black's rook. Knight C7. Bishop moves, and knight goes to E6 instead of D5. Heading the rook. I guess the knight can come back here, here or here if it has to in the future. And this is where I think Safarli stumbles. Knight to F4 looks pretty good. He goes knight C7. And just like that, he miscalculates. Rook E7. Knight's got to go to D5. Knight takes, pawn takes. Pawn takes. D6. And it's looking very bad for white at this point. Doubles up the rooks. He's got to go G4. Knight takes. Beautiful. H takes. Rook takes. Look at white's king. Surrounded. And look at the bishop on C2 and the knight on D2 doing absolutely nothing. Takes the pawn, but it's already too late. Check. King H3. Bishop takes. White's down 2 pawns. Bishop B3, big deal. The bishop finally moves, but it doesn't do anything. The rook just goes to check. King H4. Rook checks. King H3. Bishop takes the rook. D7. And rook checks. White has to go here. Rook comes back, not only guarding the bishop, but going after the pawn. King H4, Rook D3. And that's where Safarli throws in the towel. He's down a rook and 2 pawns. See a grandmaster, and he's rated over 2660. Get beat up that badly is very surprising. So I'm usually picking on Anish about all his draws, but in this tournament, I believe he's got 3 or 4 wins now. And so he's moving right along. He's coming up on the 2800 mark for rating. He's 2790, Giri is. So I got to give it to him. Give it to the kid. If you're going to pick on him, you got to give him praise too when it's due. So there it is, folks. A game from round 5 of the Gashimov Memorial 2016. Hope you enjoyed it. I want you all to remember, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.